Hello and proclamation. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be discussing how to use hardware to control Reaper. You can see I got the LaunchKey 49. It's for the Ableton Live, but you can use it in Reaper. I got two nano controllers. And you're probably wondering why. These were all supposed to control tracks 1 through 9, and then it'd be 10 onward for the rest of it. In case I need to adjust track 4 and track 20, I can do it, but it hasn't been working too well. This is my upteenth time doing this video, and I had it almost halfway done. Then I stopped. I did the Soundtoys Space Blender VST, came back to it. Everything was basically working, but I'm going to show you. If you look here on this purple one in between the green, it's track 11. If I move this, there's no smoothness. There was smoothness, but something happened, and then on this track here, it did the same thing, but the rest of them were smooth. So I've been troubleshooting, but I can't figure out what the problem is. Now, I do have the LaunchKey going in a different way than normal, and we'll go through that. But if you look at the master, it doesn't do, there's a little menu here on the left side of the LaunchKey. The newer one is in the middle, and it's a good thing that they did that, but I have to hit shift and then I can be back where I am. Actually, I should hit this last one. This last one is master. Now, I want you to take a look at that master fader. See how smooth that is? That's how it's supposed to be. So why that is happening, I don't know. I tried the Nano Control 2 on Windows 7. Perfect. It was doing perfect on Windows 11. What changed? I don't know. There's not a lot that you can tamper with, at least as far as I know, especially with the Nano Control 2. All you have is just an editor to change the MIDI CC number or the MIDI channel, and I'll go through that. Now I'm going to start with something really simple, but I think it could be a game changer. It has been for me. It might not for you. It might. Let me bring it up to the webcam here. It's a NumPad. And people use this in Excel to do financial. It's just quicker to have this hook up to the computer instead of using one on the keyboard. You can go a lot faster if you're crunching numbers, crunching monies, financial and everything. If I hit this light, you can see light there. There's a reason for me showing you that. These are all shortcuts. Now, 0 and delete, enter, plus, minus, and backspace, they're the same whether I hit this light on or not. But 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, and then the backspace like that, and the star, they're all different. So you have 11 shortcuts, and then you hit this light, and you have another 11 shortcuts. That's 22 shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts. And then you add in the other 6, you got 28 shortcuts. And it doesn't interfere with the keyboard. At least I haven't found it to be that way. This is good to have. Any of your shortcuts that you do a lot of, you can have it programmed for this. And the nice thing is you're hitting one button. You have to hit Alt and another button, or Control another button, Shift another button, because it's actually a 2-button process. And then if you have to hit Control Alt and some key, that's a 3-key process. And if you're looking for speed, this can do it. You just hit a button and go. And how you do that is, of course, in the action list. 2 is to loop a file. It should automatically be looped in Reaper, but it doesn't always work that way sometimes. I don't know why. 3 is to reverse a file. So if I hit Find Shortcut and I hit 3, oh no, that's a different one. If I hit that 3 again, and there we are, toggle, take, reverse. Because I'll take a sample and splice it up, and then certain sections I'll reverse it. It came from Best Buy. I think it was $19.99 plus tax. They had 2 in stock at the store because I checked online on their website, which isn't always accurate for stores. And they checked, they had 2. I took both. So I have one for a backup in case this goes bad. And then the 107 has a different version on it. But I started this with 107. This goes some way back. I do need to redo the shortcuts because the shortcuts I do now aren't the same that I did before. And a lot of it just becomes not needed anymore. So now we're going to deal with the Nano controller. And the Nano controller will work, but you do have to do 2 registry hack for Windows 10 and 11. It's not that hard to do. I'll go through it with you. Now, to download the drivers, I don't recommend this sidebar. You'll see support manual software drivers. I went down the drivers and it just brought like a bar up to 99% and just stayed there. That doesn't work. You want to come down to here and you are going to go, first of all, you're going to download the Korg Control Editor for Windows. Click on that. Microsoft Windows 10 or later. There's previous versions if you want previous versions. And here's the license agreement. And then here's window. Click and it should show downloading amount. Yep, there it is. I already downloaded it, but I want to show you the process. Go back to their page, because down here should be the driver, because I went to drivers from here and this didn't work very well, because it gets up to 99% and then just stays there. So I did a Google search for the driver. It's drive tools in parenthesis 115 underline R56E with the other parenthesis there .exe, and it brings it up here. So I am going to copy that to Notepad so that I have it for you guys, because the other page wouldn't work. I should be able to come down to here, and that's what you need, that right there. So what you want to do now is you want to install the USB MIDI driver first, and then you can do the editor second, but we're not going to get into the editor yet, but you need the USB MIDI driver installed first. After you install that USB MIDI driver, you can go to your start button here. Now I'm on OpenShell, but what you want to go to is your device manager. So you can always type in that box right there, device manager, and it should bring it up right here on the control panel here. It won't show up on top, it'll show it here. And then you want to make sure that they're showing with no exclamation point next to them. If so, you have a conflict and you'll have to troubleshoot. It could be anything. And if you right click this and go down to property, this device is working properly. That's what you want. Then you can go down to here, and you saw where I did device manager and it brought up the Korg USB MIDI device. Your best bet is to just type Korg there to bring it up, because it might not bring it up on yours like it did on mine when I did a search. Now I'm going to shrink this down some, because I don't need to use it right away for this part, and I want you to be able to see things. Here, we'll hide the 99%. It's not going anywhere on that website. You hit next, and you can see where it's showing my Korg Nano on 1 and 7. You want these Nano controller with a 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. They have to be on 0 to 9 to work in Reaper. Mandatory. You can hit this down button here, and see it shows on 12 and 17, but I don't know why it's doing that. It shows connected. I don't have them on 12 and 17. You can remove these, because initially I had it on 12, 16, and 19, and right back on 12 and 17. And you go down here. This shows you all your MIDI devices, not 100% accurate. In other words, if you go to option here, delete Korg MIDI devices only, you can uncheck that. And so they're all in black that's running. Now, MIDI 2 is my sound card in my computer, but I have it disabled because I'm using a audio interface and I don't want the onboard audio for audio production as much as possible. Now, some laptops might come with really good onboard audio, but you could run the risk of latency. Line 6 UX1, why it has MIDI 3, 4, and 6, and I think it has some other ones around here, doesn't it? No, there it is. Yeah, it has 19, but that doesn't mean it's 100% accurate. So you're going to have to decide on what MIDI channels you want. I think MIDI 1 was my Realtek high definition audio, and I decided to put it on that. Trying to decode this, it's not going to be always possible. My audio device connected. If I didn't have one open, I would use 8 or 9. Even though 8 says connected, it doesn't mean for sure that it's connected. Or 5, I would use 5. And then, like here, I got MIDI 13 standard driver, and look at all that numbers. I have no idea. I can't even expand this. Usually you can go to the edge of the window and expand. It won't let me expand it. If you have an exclamation point in your device manager and you can locate what's causing the conflict with it, you can take the other device off here or both of them off, and Windows 11 will reset it. So now we're going to do the registry edit. It's real simple. Now you go to your start button and you type in REG, and you want Regedit. You don't want Regedit 32. You right click it and run administrator if that menu pops up. If not, just click it. It should still work. I just like running as administrator. Now you want to go to HKey local machine. You're going to go to system. You're going to go to current control set. You can go to control, and then you're just going to left click class right there. So computer, HKey local machine, system, current control set, control class. Then you go to edit, and you're going to do a find, and you're going to type in Korg, and then you're going to have these three checked: keys, value, data. Ignore match whole string only. And then click next. And as you can see, 0004, I got a Korg there. Now you're going to expand this folder. You got drivers, MIDI, Korg, um64.drv. And you see it's on MIDI 1 on this A list. I created this A list. Right click, new, key, and then you want to go down string value. And then I'm just going to put AL, but you would type in alias. Then you would right click that, modify, and then you would type in what MIDI channel you want to put your nano controller on. And then you would hit OK. And I'm going to delete that because I don't need that. Now, I got two of them, so I'm going to go to Edit and find next. And there's 0006. You want to expand that. As you can see, it's on MIDI 7. I set it for MIDI 7 the same way. Now, you highlight driver there, and you go to Edit, and you can find other ones if you're looking for other ones. I got one here for 007, driver, MIDI. But see, I don't have it set up. There's no alias. So if I had more nano controllers, that's where I would set it up at. Now, you're going to go here where it says driver. You're going to right-click it. You're going to modify. You're going to right-click this. You're going to copy. And then you're going to go into NumPad. And then you're going to paste it there. You're going to hit Enter because you're going to need that for the next one. So we're going to get out of here. Now, in HKey local machine, you're going to go to software now. And you're going to go down to Microsoft. You're going to go down to Windows NT, expand window NT, current version, and then you're going to highlight with the left button, drivers 32. Now that's computer, HKey local machine, software, Microsoft Windows NT, current version, driver 32. As you can see, the drivers here for MIDI 1 and MIDI 7, I had to put that in. The WDMAUD.drv, that's Microsoft's own built-in driver for audio that comes with Windows. The MIDI you pick has to pick what you just did previously. So you have to pick the same one. So you can see I did that with MIDI 1 and 7. But you just modify, paste, OK. Now once you're done, you see this title bar. If I put the mouse on something else, the color in the title bar is gone. You want that title bar showing, and then you're going to hit Function and F5 to save your registry. Some keyboard is just F5, but others it's Function F5. Just depends on the keyboard. And so when you go back into your Korg USB driver, it's going to show your nano control MIDI on the port that you assigned it. Now remember, both sections have to be the same, and if not, reboot Windows. And that's the guarantee. And then come back and check this here. And then you're going to be able to go into your Korg Editor. And you type out Korg. It shows Korg Control Editor, but it brings up, for some reason, the folder. So you got to double click it. Before I did the registry hack, I brought up the editor, because in Windows 7, you don't have to do any registry hack to get these things working. It showed all this stuff not connected, including these two. So I knew that there was something up, and I had to do a search. And I found the YouTube video that help me to get this going. So you click on showing only connected device. I'm going to click on the top one. You can see it gray where the other one's white. You got your CC numbers. The way that MIDI CC numbers work is you got 0 to 127, and then you got 16 channels. I do not recommend using MIDI channel 1 because that's used for your keyboard and playing your keyboard. These folders here were set from CC 0 to 9. I wasn't even going to have a master track. And then that one was 10. So this should be the right nano because it's 17 to 24. And that should be right because that'd be 11 to 16. No, that's not right. And what you can do, you can select the device. No, I don't want to save changes. I'll go to the bottom one. Let's see what it shows. Okay, yeah, this is the left one. So you highlight one of these numbers. It will show you what the CC number is. You can change it and the value. And value, I mean, 0 is like off and 127 is on if you're just toggling. Okay, just for the knob slider, it's just disabled. And it shows CC number here. It's mini channel. But see, when you click on mini channel, it doesn't show anything. It's all blank here. And I think it's because it's on a global setting. And if it's on a global setting, they're all going to one MIDI channel instead of different MIDI channels. This will only help you if you need to change any of your MIDI information. You don't need this editor for it to connect it to Reaper, but I needed to show this to you so that at least you're aware. You're going to want this editor just in case something comes up. If you go up to the top here, you got Browse. That's only if you save a configuration. You can save configuration for the Nano Control 2 and for the LaunchKey. Here's Common, Global MIDI Channel. I would definitely change that to maybe like 5. 9 is a good one too. It just depends on what other hardware you have. One of my reasons for using this is for the record, mute, solo. You can see those buttons really well and they look cool. Even though I'm not going to use the faders, I can still use the buttons. The pots still do the same thing as the faders. So there's not too much I can do with the pots either. You see that everything's set to toggle here on these buttons here. I had to change that sign type control change toggle. It was on monetary. You don't want on monetary, you want it on toggle. So you will have to go into this editor and change it and make sure that they all say toggle. And it took some time. You got to go into options, preferences, and then MIDI input. Don't worry about MIDI output. You just want to worry about MIDI inputs. And it's in the section of audio, below your audio device. And you can see like Nano Control. I got 3 of them. This one here, I would just remove device. But you see the 3 dots. You have to have 3 dots on them. So 1 doesn't have the 3 dots. Now you're going to click the top 3, enable input from this device, include input from this device in all MIDI inputs, enable input for control messages source channel. You got to click those 3. And this bottom one, let Reaper timestamp events default. Reaper takes care of that. And then you hit apply. And then we're going to go to our action list. Now, this one here should be record for track 9. No? Oh, no, I changed it. It's record for bus 01. So we'll go find that shortcut. And it's right here, arm track 02. I'll go to 03, add. All you have to do is add. Just move the button. Now you see that it's lit. You want it lit. Because when I hit that, it goes off. Because if it's not lit and you go to hit it, the lidded R means it's not recording and it's off is recording. It'll do a reverse. So now if I hit R and it's lit, you can see it lit. So it's set for record. If you do VOLCC, this is where all your volume is for your different tracks. If your faders work on the Nano Control, then this is what you do. You just take one, add, move the fader, boom, you're done. It's that simple. But we are going to get ready to do the fun one, LaunchKey 49. To get this thing going, you have to use a certain software because if I was to go into the action list and did what I did with the Nano, they do the same thing. It just be jerky. It was smooth at one point. Why it's not anymore, I don't know. So I thought, man, this gotta be some way to use this. And there is. There is a file. And the file is this one, DrivenByMoss for Reaper. It's been around for a while. I remember trying this out in Windows 7, but I don't think it worked. But I didn't have a LaunchKey 49. I was probably using different hardware that wasn't supported. It shows that it came out on May 16th of this year, 2025. It's a learning curve. He has videos like for Novation, there's my MK3. And if you have an MK4, it's going to work the same way. Go to Novation, and this is what the MK4 looks like. And I want to forewarn with the LaunchKey 49, if you start playing with buttons, especially with shift and hitting different buttons and stuff, you can end up with things just messed up trying to repair the damage because you could accidentally set something that the keyboard will take permanently. You want to exit out of Reaper without saving the project and then go back into it. And I want you to know, save. That has saved my NAT so many times. I don't care how much backup files, and I think Reaper only keeps like the last 25. I will save. If I make any kind of changes, save. I don't take chances. Don't take chances. And you can see, select a product. You want to go to components. No, this isn't where I wanted to be. Downloads. Down here in support, there's downloads. Here we are. Okay, now this is it. You see you got LaunchKey MK4, FL keys, all sorts of things. So let's do the LaunchKey MK3. It's 49. Is that going to take me back again to that same page? It didn't. You click on that, continue installation, and it installs it. You do need the Novation USB driver 2.30. You download that. Now, when you buy the LaunchKey and you plug it into your computer, you're going to get an extra drive. It's like there's a USB drive on this keyboard, and I'll have like a PDF of getting started. There's also the user guide too. So it'll be there that you can copy to your hard drive. And then if you read those PDFs, I think PDFs, or they could be web pages, HTML. They'll tell you how to turn that function off. So every time your keyboard's in, you don't have this extra drive popping up because you won't need it. Now at this point, you can go and install the USB driver, and then you can go into your web components. And once you're in a component, it should read your keyboard. There shouldn't be any problem. Up on top, you see here, up to date. I'm up to date on the firmware because when I got this keyboard, it had to update the firmware. And you can see up here on the right, it says no update. Manage LaunchKey, that's what you want to click on, or whatever control that you're using from Novation. Now on the left, you see all these templates. These are templates that you can use. We've got complete control for the pots and the pads, circuit, rhythm notes and FX, models, cycles. And then down here at the end, you got factory. Because what you get is you get 4 different modes. And for the pads, these bottom 4 are for the custom modes for the pad. The top 4 are custom modes for the pots. And these last 4 here are for the faders. Custom modes that you can design. I'll show you. Get custom mode from LaunchKey. Now I'm going to do pads because I have one set up for the pads. I have it on 1. And this is my track templates. All I have to do is hit a button on the pads. Oh, you can see the pads still. Good. I'm going to hit shift. This is 1, and all lights up in color. It lights up in those colors. The only different is piano right here. This is piano. It's more of a aqua color than a green. I set this all up myself from F1 to F8, and then F9 to F12, and then Alt F2, Alt F3, Alt F4, and F1. And then I have labels on the bottom and top just to make sure. I mean, I pretty much have the colors down. I started this color back when I started with Reaper years ago. And to go through this, orange is drum, and then the next one is percussion, which is supposed to be more of a peach color. It's not that color. That looks a little yellow. And then you got bass, sub-bass, synth, piano, guitar, orchestra. Up on top, you got sampler, vocal, backing vocals, effect. You got MIDI. I got this one here for Jam Origin, using it for MIDI. It's guitar to MIDI software. I use it quite a bit. This red one is the reference bus, and the last one's for audio track. Now I had those track templates for a long time. They were set up on like a toolbar as well, but once I got the LaunchKey, I was in components and go, look what I can do. Now I'm going to insert this part somewhere in this whole progression because you actually have to start in Reaper and set it up and then come here and then set it up like you have in Reaper. Reaper should be the initial that you start with, and then this would be secondary for the LaunchKey 49. But you see, you got pads 1 through 16. If I hit a pad on the right side, I could put a name for it. I could name it drums, but I haven't. But the message type is keystroke, and that's what you want. You got off, note, control change, program change, and keystroke. Program change, I have no idea what that means. But control change, that's your MIDI, and you can decide on your CC number, CC36, and that should be the last key on my keyboard. That should be 36. And then your different values, 0 to 127. Monetary is what you would want. I would change the channel if you decide to use the pads. This is how you would use it for setting up for drums. So I can come up with, a custom mode 2 and have it set up for drums. And I will do that once I get to it. The problem would be different drum programs use different CC numbers. Some start at the bottom like 36. Some might start at 50. So like Addicted Drums would work this way with C36. The last key on the keyboard would be, the kick. And then 37 would be, snare and then onwards. And then note is just if you want to play the pads like you would keyboard. So I'm going to put this back on keystroke. And then you just type in the keystroke you want. So however you got it set up in Reaper is how you want to set this up actually afterwards. Down below, you can see on color. And if you look all the way down on the bottom, these are different colors you can choose for the different pads. So in Reaper, if I highlight track 11 and I hit the orange right here at the end, and there's my drum track. I don't have a favorite drum machine, so I bring this up. It's basically a MIDI track. It's already routed to bus 01. All you have to do is put in the VST and you're set to go. So I'll take that one out there. And what would be another one? Piano. Some of these do have VST on them, like this one has free piano on it. My main goal is to have templates with good VSTs that are just basic. They don't eat a lot of CPU power, but they sound good to feel inspirational to you. And then if I need to swap it out with a more powerful VST. So anything I need, I don't even have to think. I just go, okay, I'm going to start out with guitar, or I do an audio track and throw in a wave sample on it. Now to make this work, first you got to create your track template of whatever instruments you're going to be using: orchestra, piano, bass, drums, guitar, vocal tracks. If I come here to the synth track, it's set up properly, MIDI, all channels. Right click right there after you highlight it. Under input, record input, audio, MIDI, input MIDI, all MIDI inputs, and then map input to channel, and I have it set for channel 1. Now here's this other option. It must have come with the recent version of Reaper, and I haven't seen it before. Usually there's the map input to channel 1. Source channel is all channels. To me that seems like it's something new. But you just want to make sure all your MIDI connections is proper. You can even put this on record, and so that when you save it as a track template, it will save. So you got it highlighted, you right click it and go to save tracks, the track template, and I'm going to do it as asynth. If you want to save, say, MIDI files with the track, that's where you include track items and template. If you do any envelopes, you can do include envelopes and template. You plan on using envelopes over and over and over on your projects. So I'm going to come down here below, and I'm going to right click and go to asynth right here. And there it is. You got record. The MIDI information still there. And then we're going to go into SWS/SNM extensions. You want to install this. You should have it on your Reaper. If you don't, it adds more functionality to Reaper, and it's a good thing to have. You're going to go down to resources here, and once you create your template, then you can just come down here. I think you can go down to 229. But you put your arrow on an empty space, right click it, and then add slot for another one. Then you double click that, and it'll go right into your templates, and you can add whatever you want in. Here's a new one that I did. I can open that, put that in there, and then it pops it up as well. But I gotta delete that because I don't want that. And I'm going to make this a little more smaller because I'm going to go into my action list. And then I'm going to go down to, say, piano custom, and I'll edit the action. What I have is resources, import track from track template slot 7. And that's here, right here where it says 7. So this will bring in that track template, and then set selected track MIDI input to all channel, map selected track MIDI input to channel 1. That's just in case the track template didn't hold it. It's just double checking my work. It doesn't do any harm. And then set selected track record armed, and then send selected track to bus 01 and remove master send. And that's it. Now, this is where you're going to also add in the shortcut that you want to trigger this event. Right here, I got F6 and then MIDI channel 1 note 113. Now, the MIDI channel 1, I don't need that anymore. I can actually delete that and just stick with the F6. Now, the SWS extension makes it possible for you to have these as track template. When you make a custom, it helps you to set up MIDI routing or audio routing too. You can set up your audio for mono channel 1 or mono channel 2, or even for stereo if you just want it on both channel. And then what you would do is, like I said, set those up as shortcuts. Once you install the USB for this keyboard, you still want to go into your control panel, device manager, and I got OpenShell, so mine's going to be a bit different, but you want to make sure that Windows 11 or whatever Windows operating system you're using will show the LaunchKey MK349. Right click it, property, and under general, you got this device is working properly. So this part doesn't require the DrivenByMoss for Reaper software. You can do this without it. For the next part, you will need it. You go to option, you go to preferences, you just want MIDI input, don't worry about MIDI output, and then you can see where there is LKMK3 MIDI. You got 3 dots there, that's fine. This has 2 different selections. I don't know why, but this one MIDI N2 and then in parentheses LKMK3 MIDI. You see there's no dots there. You don't want no dots there. You do not want anything checked. Let Reaper timestamp events, leave it, that's Reaper thing. And after you do this, you're going to go to control/OSC web, and see I have it there, DrivenByMoss. If you went to add, it would bring down this list. Reaper has some support for stuff, but none of them would work with the LaunchKey. So what we're going to do, we're going to highlight that and we're going to edit. When you do enable it, you're going to have this. You go to configure. Now when this pop up, I had like 3 things. I removed them all. You hit detect on the right hand of the screen and it'll bring up the Novation LaunchKey. Now you can go into configuration, and if you don't have the right MIDI input, you have to put it in manually and save it. Mine was coming up the line 6 UX1, so I had to reset it to the MIDI N2. This stuff here, the transports does work on this keyboard in Reaper already. New clip link, if I hit the capture MIDI, it'll capture all the MIDI that I play for the 8 bars. I think I'm going to want 16 bars though if I ever do it. And set clip scene on launch, have it off. See, this has different settings, but I'm not going to mess with too much. But I know that the capture MIDI will work. But once you have this set up, you're set to go. Now, to move from track to track, you have 1 to 8 in the master track. The master track stays the same. So you get 1 to 8, and then you get 9 to 17, I think. You can get into different things using this menu on the left side of the keyboard. Or say I want to go to the next group of 9 through 17, I'll hit 10 here. And then if I move this here, I'm moving 10. Now you got a left arrow button and right arrow button right here at the end. Can't really see it very well. They're not lit up. But if I hit the left arrow, it's going to move up. And the right moves down there. But once you put DrivenByMoss for Reaper, it starts functioning like this. Now it should show the pot. See if I can find 11. Okay, this is 10. This is the mixing board, and then 11. Right here is 11. See how it's going back and forth? And that's basically what you need when it comes to mixing, is getting all your volumes adjusted the way that you want in the panning. Now this can play, like I said. It records. If I hit that button, it's going to record. If I hit click, the metronome is ready to go. You got quantize for MIDI. Here's the capture MIDI for 16 bars. There's other things this keyboard can do, but it's going to take me some time. But this is a good basic start. It'll get you going in fader, pots, track templates. So that's my video. I've finally got it done. I just got to edit it. And I hope you have a great day, a great night, and I'll see you in the next video.